we're probably, I think, about 6 or 7 practices in at this point. I should know that, but we've had a good time. A lot of work on us, a lot of time just rolling the ball out and playing, and working some of the fundamental technical stuffs, but also just putting the guys in competitive situations with good on good against each other. And we made it through finals last week. Saturday, the semester ended for the guys, and so this is the first week that we'll really shift attention now and start to bleed in some Georgia Tech elements to practice. Today, we did a little bit of that. Tomorrow, we'll do a little bit more. We'll take Thursday off, and then Friday go a little further. Then Saturday, we'll actually mark the first kind of true in-season game plan practice, and that'll set the course for a game week. And so it'll be here before we know it. But we've had a lot of fun. Again, it's been fun to celebrate the game with the guys and connect with each other, but also connect through the game. I've been impressed with their spirit and their competitive energy and the fun they're having on the field. And I do think now there comes a shift in our prep where we really start to narrow our focus and get serious about going down and playing a good game. And we can do that, but there's work ahead of us that's going to be really important. So,
with your previous stops, whether it's Notre Dame or some of the other schools you've been to, and through here learning, under Jerry Kill, like what have you learned that like a bowl prep should look like, basically?
Well, there's a balance between obviously keeping the team in shape, keeping the team engaged in the systems, and also keeping the team fresh. We'll be right at around a month by the time we're playing in terms of the last time we played. And so I think we've done that to a point. I mean, it's been we've done a little less where it's been kind of developmental scrimmages this time around. Some of that has to do with just injuries that have removed certain pieces and maybe depleted depth, where we just we're not necessarily in position to do that. But keeping the team fresh, also keeping them conditioned, wanting to use this time as developmental time for our future, and then also narrow in on a game plan and get prepared to play a good opponent. I think in my experience, there's been a little, you spend too much time on the opponent, it can get overkill. And so, I think the focus on us and just being able to go out and play our systems against each other and have fun in the competition is brought a real spirit to our work. And we've tried to kind of toe the line between doing enough to stay in shape but not doing too much where we burn out. So so far so good. We haven't been able to do as much where we've gotten the team out into the community and had fun. Just a lot of that has to do with final schedule and the quick turnaround to the bowl trip. But I think there's going to be a lot of activities for us in Birmingham where we'll have a chance to bond around those.
What's the O-line shaping up like with no gunner? I know you were going to look at things in practice.
Yeah, we've been able to kind of shift some pieces around, and we're training a few guys to fill in at tackle. I think we feel good about where we are. Obviously, there are guys that have played that position and have experience on our team. I think there's also guys that, a guy like Big Low, who's played tackle in his past, that can step in and be helpful there too. So the unit's doing well, and I think we'll have a good answer. Of course, by the time we're playing, but I think so far so good on that.
Are the freshmen early enrollees practicing now?
They are. Yeah, we have. Well, not all of them, but we have basically 4, new players that started practice yesterday. Van, Caden, Nick Jefferson's in there, and then MK. So it's been great to have them out there. We'll add some more as we go, just as we have to wait for their semesters to end and their graduation to be certified. But as our semester ended Saturday, we've been able to fold them in this week. It's been a lot of fun to have them out there. I know they're having fun. They're swimming. It's a lot. It comes fast at them, but really cool aspect of this time of year that we haven't been able to enjoy in the past. It's really, really neat.
Speaking of the offensive line, how's Grayson Morgan doing?
He underwent a procedure a couple weeks ago to try to correct an issue he's been dealing with his back, and I'm happy to report he's feeling a lot better. Now that does not, put him anywhere close to the field at this point. We have to sit down and talk about, just where he's at and what this looks like moving forward. Grayson's so tough and he wants to play football, and this has been a really frustrating part of his development here, is just the inability to stay healthy, and specifically with respect to his back. And so I'm excited for him that he's starting to feel better and that the ridiculous symptoms are gone. We need to resolve all the way, and we need him to feel really good about doing the things that he's going to need to do to be able to compete and play. But we'll have those conversations as we move. I think the main focus right now is the fact he feels better.
Are there any young guys in particular who have taken a big jump from fall camp to now, guys who maybe haven't touched the field yet?
Gosh, big jump. I don't know necessarily that I would. It's hard, to see big jumps when you're in it still, and we haven't actually come up for air yet completely. I think you see development in all the young players, and it's incremental, but it's there, and we've had a lot that have contributed to the success. Jamison Curtis has really flashed. That would be one I would highlight. He's a guy that really has developed nicely through the fall, and I think our offensive coaches I've talked about him a lot, just in terms of how he's performed on the service teams. To be able to see him in competitive situations now, good on good, it's been impressive to watch. So excited for that. We've had some development in the offensive line. A guy like Misa Sandoval, who's weight's down, he's feeling good. I continue to get positive reports on him as another guy that's flashed. But on the whole, I think we see progress through the team. Certainly with those guys that are experiencing their first year. Dante Carter's another one that's come out with a focus here in bowl prep. It's been fun to watch him, kind of reach for more. And one of the things, the first year is always the hardest. And whether you're playing, I've had guys that have been, freshman All-American, and I've had obviously plenty of guys who've been redshirt candidates in my career that no matter what, the first year, it's all adjustment. So there's a grind element to it. I think getting through the semester, getting through school, the reset at the end of the season, I think is healthy for everyone. And a lot of those guys right now are plotting their course to have a great winter and spring and to fight for a starting position. So they bring a lot of energy to our work right now, because again, I think they feel like they have their feet on the ground, and they've adapted to who we are and what we do.
Is Eli trending toward coming back for next season?
I don't want to put a slider on it from this platform right now. I think he's weighing options, and he hasn't ruled anything out, is how I'd phrase it. And I'm excited about the potential of bringing him back, and I know he's excited about the potential of remaining a part of this program. But like I've said before, we want to make it really good for him to return, but we also want to support him as one of us. So if it's the NFL draft for him and he's representing Vanderbilt on that stage, great. If it's returning and doubling down and reaching for a great year in 2025, obviously I'd be excited about that too.
How do you reflect on C.J. Taylor's time here and just kind of how he's grown up since he's gotten here?
There's so much growth there on a personal level. I think too, CJ, when I think about CJ's career, I think about the fact that, in that first season, there were very few bright spots for me. It was a hard year, but one of the great parts of that season was CJ's emergence as someone who just loved football. And I joke with him a lot about the fact that when he first started in the summer, I don't know how much, strength and conditioning training that they were doing in high school or whatever, but that wasn't his strong suit. He's grown into that. So it was a lot of uncertainty in that summertime, just kind of watching him learn how to train and actually condition his body. But as soon as we put the ball down in fall camp, he came alive. And that was so special to me because, again, it was like he and Marlon Sewell on that scout team. Tyson Russell was over there too. There's probably some that I'm missing, but I could always hear them, and there's just this kind of like, it was like a starting point, this seed that was planted there with a group of guys that just loved to play the game, and he was able to carve out a special teams role and then turn the page to year 2. He becomes our most productive player defensively, doubled down on that in year 3, and here he is in year 4, having gone through a position change and is a captain in our program. So I think there's a lot to be said about that, and I'm excited for him to finish the right way in Birmingham, and excited to pull for him as he pursues a professional career too.
Seems like you guys are getting a lot of transfer visitors and some good traction, but they probably want to know who the quarterback is. What's the level of concern with not having heard anything about Diego's result?
Well, we feel positively right now about where that's headed, and that's just the feedback we're getting. And again, I don't want to claim to know something that everyone else doesn't know or speculate. It's just that's the feedback we're getting. He has a good case, and obviously we're anxiously awaiting the final word there. But we've been really busy with portal visitors. We're trying to be surgical that way too, because it's not like you have unlimited space, and so adding the right people in the right places to elevate the competition in the rooms to ultimately change the performance on the field. That's the goal. I think having the final say on the quarterback room will go a long way, and we'll be ready no matter what. I mean, there's obviously the unknown always presents anxiousness, but obviously we want to have Diego here. We want him to be a part of this. He wants to be a part of this, and there will be a huge celebration the day we get that final thumbs up. And if for whatever reason the narrative changes that way, we've primed ourselves to be ready for that too.
Coach, is there a focus potentially on circling back with guys that you recruited prior to them, landing at a college, especially if it wasn't at Vanderbilt, and specifically some local kids, then just kind of trying to circling back on those kids? How do you differentiate on, if you even stay in contact with a lot of those guys?
Well, we don't stay in contact, but what we do is this is an important part of our recruiting approach, is that we're in service of the player. So I think it's easy to look at it and to try to manipulate a decision based off what suits our interests. What we try to do is reveal ourselves to the prospects, have them get to know who we are authentically and genuinely, and then help support them on their journey to whatever decision they make. We're not a staff that, when someone calls us to tell us they're going somewhere else, we're going to, again, celebrate with them and wish them well, and just be true to who we are. That's integrity to us, words and actions, and that's how I want my kids treated too. So that's the approach, and usually what will happen, or what can happen in those situations, is people don't forget the energy in the program, they don't forget the interactions, and sometimes in recruiting, the attention inevitably is focused on the surface. Part of that is because recruiting process goes so quickly. Part of it is because I think coaches can be really good at distracting people to show them what they want them to see. But inevitably, I think when you pick a home and you plant somewhere, in my perspective, what's most important is the people that you're around and that are challenging you and supporting you, and that you foster a sense of belonging in that. And so I think when guys go places and they don't find that sense of belonging, or maybe they made the choice on certain aspects that they realize in the long run it's not as impactful or not as important in the decision, that they come back to the experience they had in recruiting, and we've done well in terms of our consistency that way. So it's a natural thing that'll happen because we focus on the relationships in recruiting. And I think as people realize how important the personal support is, and again, this spirit and the energy we have internally here, I think they're drawn back to it because of what they've experienced elsewhere.
What do you make of Dave Clawson stepping down?
Well, first let me say, I spoke with Dave yesterday, and man, do I have so much respect for him. And I would not be here without Dave. I worked for him twice. Unfortunately, he kind of dropped the mic on me and beat me twice here. But I learned so much from Dave about how to be a head coach, how to run a program, how to win, and as a program builder, Dave's in the same conversation with Jerry Kill and all those great guys that have taken programs and left them better than he found it. He did it at Fordham, obviously did it at Bowling Green, did it at Wake Forest. And, we've got to figure this game out. And there's so many great changes going on right now, but the lack of regulation and I don't know, it's just disjointed, and it's creating this constant state of angst, and it's depleting the quality of life for our coaches. It's so positive in so many ways, and I think as a coach, and shoot, Dave Clawson worked as hard as anyone I've ever been around, so it's not about those sacrifices. I think it's just there's a lot of strain and stress right now, and so I hate to see him step away. I hope that he's so proud of the program he built at Wake Forest. In so many ways, I've looked at that as a model for us to base off of here. Again, I have so much respect for him and his career. I've got so much personal respect for him, and I hope this isn't the last time that he coaches, because he's got such a gift. And in the meantime, I'm going to have him visit us as many times as he can come visit us, because there's a great resource for me to run ideas by and pick his brain. And again, I want to acknowledge just what a great man, what a great career, and what a loss for our profession.
Anything else? Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thank you.